It may take him a minute.
I'm going to call to order the Board of Finance meeting. Dr. Apple.
I will give a brief financial report over the state of finances for Lanesville Community Schools. Starting off with some current budget numbers, we have got our initial approval from the state of Indiana for our 2024 budget. Some current numbers: our referendum fund, we were approved $500,000 with a tax rate of 0.1354. On that, we have a maximum tax rate of 17 cents or 0.17. And so we went with $500,000, and we are still coming in under that maximum tax rate. So instead of the taxpayers of Franklin Township paying that 17 cents, which is the max for us, they're paying $13.5 on every $100 of assessed value. Our debt service fund, we were approved at $608,922 with a tax rate of 0.0628. So just about 6 cents on every $100 of assessed value. Now, one thing that we will have to do this year, later on in the springtime, we will have to ask for additional appropriations of only about $3,000 somehow. And as these go out, if you get off of your amortization schedule, and so what we get from the banks is different from the initial one that the state got whenever all that was approved years ago. And so it's coming up about $3,000 short. We have the money to pay that. We then just have to, later on in the spring, ask the state of Indiana, DLGF, for an additional appropriation to give us the permission to spend the money that we have to make sure that we make the debt payments. Education fund, we were approved $6,767,185. And operations, $2,997,226 with a tax rate of 0.3312, so essentially 33 cents on every assessed $100. And then we've got a total budget that's got the initial approval of $10,873,333 with a total tax rate of 0.5294. And if you guys remember, several months ago, whenever we were going through some financial stuff with Jeffrey Hammond, the tax rate was sitting at about 56 cents. We have dropped a little bit below that now at 0.52, so a little under 53 cents. And the reason for that is because the assessed value of Franklin Township has increased over the last year. In 2023, the assessed value of Franklin Township was $275 million, a little bit over, and right now it's a little over $300 million. And so that difference is what created the shrinkage of the tax rate. And so I'd have to check with him, but we were the second lowest tax rate in the state of Indiana. We may be down at the very bottom now, which, they pay the lowest taxes, but that's not always the best thing. But that's where that sits.
Is that? Do you know if Amazon's on there yet?
That I do not know.
Okay.
That those are just the raw numbers that we get from the county assessor.
Okay.
And so that comes in our form for that. Current fund balances, our education fund is sitting at $2,544,967.54. Our operations fund is sitting at $2,617,699.68. Our referendum fund is sitting at $154,446.53. Our debt service fund is currently sitting at $216,535.82. Rainy day fund is sitting at $161,387. Presently, our investment that we moved to my mind is drawing a blank. First in yet, whatever that actual name of it is. I don't know why it's drawing a blank now, but it is sitting at $4,157,667.90. A third of that interest was already pulled out at the end of December, and it is currently set aside for the teachers and certified staff, the 401A. They've got that meeting tomorrow with the investment planner to walk them through how to set that 401A up. And then that money will go there. And then as soon as that money is placed in the 401As and it's 1% of their income, then the rest of it is going to go to certified teachers in that one-time stipend as the contract stipulates. We have pretty good numbers on that, but we have to wait for the stipend after that to make sure that there's no shortfall in case something pops up that we weren't expecting. But it should be a nice pay stipend of roughly in the ballpark of $500 on top of the 401A. And then we will sit and whatever a third of that interest that has occurred next December, we'll do the same again.
You said 4,157,000.
$4,157,667.90.
So that was well above 4% then.
We pulled more than 4%. We had a couple of quarters where we were pulling 4.8, closer to 5%.
Okay.
And so as long as we
I thought I was going to stay at 4%. So
no, that was the estimate that we got, and it outperformed this year. And so that's a nice for the corporation, nice for the teachers to go through that. Hopefully that will continue to grow and then continue to also grow for the teachers with the stipend, and we'll continue to fund that 401A for all certified employees. And then current fund balance is sitting at $9,852,704.47 is where we're sitting in total. So financially, the corporation is in very good shape. It has our balance has come down a little bit in recent years, but that is because there are a few positions that we are funding and trying to get funded. Added, teacher here or there. We're in the midst of trying to add as we talked before, another special education teacher. We know some of those programs are important, and luckily, Mr. Morris has us in a spot when he left that we're very good financially. We've got most of the corporations around us. They're sitting at about 25 to 30% of their operating budget. They have cash on hand, which means if you really hit a downturn, they're going to really kind of struggle. We're not in that situation. Now, when you look dollars to dollars, we're probably about the same. But when you look at the proportion of the corporation, some, both in Harrison County are sitting in the 20s, the last numbers. Now, the state doesn't do a very good job. They want, their numbers from you immediately. The latest data on that, when you look on their site, is from 2018. And so when you look historically, that's where those corporations have usually set. I can't imagine that they've moved too far one way or the other in the county, but Lanesville Community Schools is doing a wonderful job with their finances, and we are going to continue to try to get some more money into the classrooms and get some more personnel in place to really help our students succeed into the future. But Mr. Lind, that is our financial report.
okay. The next agenda item was for the election of the Board of Finance for 2024. Do I have any? We need a president and secretary. Do I have any nominations for president?
I nominate Ryan Lind to continue as president of the Finance Committee.
I'll second that.
Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, and then secretary. Do we have any nominations for secretary?
I'll nominate Tara as secretary to continue on her journey.
I'll second that nomination.
Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
Okay, Terry, second it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed.
And now that we're in a little about 5 minute break,
All right. We good to go? All right, I'm going to call to order the regular school board meeting of Lanesville at 7:20 in the cafeteria. First off, we will announce the new board officers. For those of you who don't know, I am Jason Abel. I'm Vice President. Bob Schickel is not available tonight. He will continue as president. I will continue as vice president, and Sharon Rothrock will continue as secretary. That was done in our January 2nd meeting. Any comments? All right. All right. Third one, appoint corporation treasurer, deputy treasurer, and executive treasurer. So do we have to nominate them?
No, those positions are currently held by Penny Schmeltz is our treasurer. Carrie Simler, who we hired recently, is our new deputy treasurer. And then Miss Becky Stilger is the executive secretary. And we just ask, yeah.
Do I have a motion to approve the three of them?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that motion carries. All right, we're going to tie number 4 and 5 together. Has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes from December 19th and January 2nd, regular school board meetings?
There was one mistake I saw. It said ELP instead of ELF.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Oh, ELP instead of ELF.
ELP instead of ELF.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a typo.
Yeah, it's just a typo.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that. Thank you.
That was in the December meeting. Other than that, I'll make a motion to approve them.
I'll second the motion.
All right. Those in favor of approval, say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right, the motion carries.
And before we go any further, I do want to add that we do have one additional agenda item, and it slipped our mind, but you guys need to appoint a board legislative liaison appointment. So just one of you all to serve in that capacity.
All right. Approval of claims for the month of January. Has everybody had a chance to look at them? Give you a minute to think about it.
Jason, I'd like to make a motion. We approve the claims for the month of, let's see, that's January.
Or-
Yeah, it's January the 1st through the 18th, I think.
I'll second it.
All those in favor of approval of the claims, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Principal reports. Mr. Volker, how would you like to start out being the high school? We'll start at the top and work our way down.
All right.
Good evening. There's not been a lot new. We've had 8 school days since our last school board meeting, so there's not a lot new to report out. We have had scheduling meetings for our 8th through 11th graders to talk about next year. We had Master Gunnery Sergeant Lynn Ackerman came out and talked to some groups in the 8th grade, and then I believe it was sophomore class meetings about ROTC at Floyd Central and taking the opportunity to go to that. We also had a representative from Prosser that came out to visit and talk to all our freshmen one day as well during homeroom time. Talk to them about Prosser and how to schedule yourself and get your transcript to where you can get into Prosser with what you want to get into. So that was valuable for them. And we have Ivy Tech coming out on Tuesday of next week to talk about the Indiana College Core to the sophomores and how to set their schedules up for that as well. So that is kind of the big thing in the high school world, is already preparing for 24-25. I have down that we're going to do some clear site testing to see where our kids are for the next 2 days, but because we're going to be on a delay schedule, we are not. We push that to Thursday, Friday. And if more weather comes in, the next 2 full days, we're going to do clear site testing, except for Monday because we have a conflict on Monday with our schedule. On Friday, January 26th, Mr. Payne's going to recognize our winter sports athletes at an assembly at school. That is also the last day of the girls' basketball season. This is their last home game tonight. A very successful season, and their sectional will be there before we know it. Come around, and then also that is the same week that girls' swim sectional is that week, and then boys' basketball will be later, and the boys' swimming will be later. We're part of that AP TIP program, and we'll take mock exams in English and science on February 8th and February 12th through that program. And then the math will take theirs after spring break in April. So we have that going on. And then we'll have some teachers and admin in the building. I guess weather permitting, we sort of talked about that today, about our contingency plan on Saturday, working on CPI training, which is de-escalation techniques for adults that are working with kids to keep it from being a major event. Just keep and talks about your posture, how your tone of voice, as well as other things. If you do have to keep a kid from harming himself or others, how you do that and do that safely for everybody involved. So we have that going on. But coming up, that's really it. That's all I have for my report.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Smitley, would you like to entertain us?
I don't know if you will. I'd like to, but I don't know if you will be. Good evening. Is this loud enough? Yeah. I don't want to. Okay. Well, we started off, as Dr. Belker and I were talking, it's only been eight school days, I think, since our last meeting. But the elementary school is plus 7 kids in district at that time. So, yeah, we came back. We had 3 new kindergartners, a first, second, fourth, and fifth grader. I think I could say safely, thank goodness, no 6th graders, because we know those classrooms are full. But so, yeah, that was an interesting start to the school year. Some things we have going on right now. It's a long list, but it shouldn't take very long. The Casey Husong, what a great addition with Martha exiting, and she's just been carrying on a lot of same things. We have our book blast coming in, starting up. We just had a very short meeting right after school today. This brought over $26,000 worth of books into the school last year. Guarantees every student gets a book. Last year it worked out so that there was enough that there were actually classroom sets of books given as well. And then some additional funding after that. And so that's getting underway very soon. We also have the 2024 Read to Feed Harrison County, also going through the library. Again, the idea is to get the schools in Harrison County working together to read 10,000 books. And so Casey is working on that report for Lanesville. And really, if we meet this goal, then the Harrison County Public Library, the Harrison County Community Services gets $1,000, $250 from Eckert Supply, $50 from Caesars, and $200 from the Harrison County REMC to support the community. So it's really getting kids out there, growing the interest in reading for a good cause. Thursday this week, we have the 100th day of school. So there will be, I think, some older looking people running around the school as we have. Dr. Velker covered CPI training, so that's off the list. We do start our clear site middle of the year testing just to kind of see where we're at. Dr. Apple is going to talk a little bit about iRead 3 celebration coming up at the state level. But we've already started conversations with our testing coordinators. We are testing 25 and 65 second graders, so we're testing a total of 90 kiddos this year in iRead. We have Karen Armstrong, our PE teacher, is getting ready to kick off the Kids Heart Challenge. She does that every other year to kind of give it a break. So looking looking forward to that. We'll have more information on that coming out, but it's to support the mind and body to help health for all. And so she'll be coming out, and that's a big program. Rumor has it there's something about a dunk tank and me being involved with that. But just whatever happens.
I hope not for your sake.
Well, it is, as long as it's not a day like today and it's outside, I'm okay with it. So we are opening enrollment the first week of February. We're going to start getting information out on that. We're going to make sure that we go into a wait list mode instead of putting information out that we would be not accepting students. That was an error on my part last year, but we also want to make sure we get enrollment out to families early so they know that Lanesville's here. And then we'll be looking at numbers later on in the summertime to see where we're at. PTSO, they don't have a report tonight. They haven't had a meeting since the last time we met. They're working in the concession stand right now, helping Mike and Mandy out. But they'll have a report next time. We do have a PTSO meeting next week in the cafeteria at 6:00, I believe. February 12th, the staff doesn't even know. We just got the date set up on this, but we have an assembly called Look Out for the Left Out coming. This is actually a local foundation that was set up. And it's really just it's to promote kindness and one another. A little girl named Kala, and I will mess up the story, but a little girl named Kala in New Albany, a third grader, started a foundation creating slime, selling slime to help out families in Romania. And she was later diagnosed with an aggressive type of brain cancer and then passed shortly after. But her parents are carrying on her message. So our counselor, Samantha Steele, is working to bring this program in just to spread that message of, again, what it says, look out for the left out, being kind to all. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, we'll have more information out on that. We have Science Bowl finishing up within the next 2 weeks. They're going to have a competition, not this coming week, but the week after. And that'll wrap up Science Bowl. And Bethany Miller has been working with those kids on a weekly basis, getting them ready. And the last thing that I have is we've got robotics kick off. Our new third grade hire for this school year, Brooke Kramer, has already had parent meetings right as soon as we got back to school. And so he's going 2 days a week right after school with fourth, fifth, and sixth graders who are a part of that. And we're going to see what it turns into. Really, he has no limitations, high expectations, no limitations, but high expectations. And I know Brooke's excited. Mr. Kramer's excited to see what that program can grow into. And I know that's one that the community has been begging for. And so last year it didn't work out, unfortunately, but this year I think we've got a better hold on it and see how we can grow that in a positive, successful way.
Which robot kits are they using?
He's using Vex right now, is the main one, and those are competition robots. He has a couple of different styles that he's using. For the younger ones, for the fourth and fifth graders, he's using more basic, I know, but then for the older kids, he's going to get them in with that kind of that competition platform. We won't be competing this year, but as he would say, that's pie in the sky. That's exactly where we want to go with it. So, and to talk to Mr. Kramer, he would say, hey, we could get this going as early as first grade and take it all the way up through the high school level. It takes a lot of work, and we're a while away from that, but somebody with the vision's there.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Dr. Apple, would you like to do the superintendent report?
Yes, I would. I'll start off just with our two staff spotlight staff members for the month of January, and then they will go out in a newsletter that I've started that send out to the corporation. But we are highlighting Miss Pam Johnson as our classified staff member of the month of January, and Miss Bethany Miller as our certified staff member for the month of January. Mr. Smitley alluded to an iRead celebration. Mr. Smitley and myself were invited to the Indiana State House in February, on February the 15th. And so we will go up with superintendents and administrators from a number of schools throughout the state. But we have been invited because of Lanesville Elementary School's iRead success during last school year, and they had a 98.1% pass rate. And Jeff, was it 51 of 52? that passed IRE 3. And so that puts us in really good company. And so Mr. Smitley and I will take ourselves to the big city on the 15th and try to represent Lanesville in a good fashion at the Indiana State House and try not to make fools of ourselves. But that is a wonderful accomplishment for our students and staff at Lanesville Elementary. And we've got 2 kindergarten teachers here in the audience with us, Miss Hood and Miss Shiger. And we know that a lot of those skills begin to be developed there in kindergarten and work their way through. So it's not just a 3rd grade accomplishment. It truly is everybody from the time they enter kindergarten, instructional assistants, teachers, support staff, all the way through. So the elementary should be commended on that, and we are very honored to get that invitation to go to the State House. I would like to publicly thank Miss Rita Brewington, who is currently at the girls' game right now, for all of her years of service to Lanesville Community School Corporation. After this month, Ms. Brewington will be retiring, and she will be greatly missed in this corporation. She's a wealth of knowledge, and she's agreed to, when we get stuck on something, give her a call, and she will help us. But I wanted to make sure that I publicly recognize Ms. Brewington for all of her hard work and dedication to Lanesville Community School Corporation. I'll come to this one in a minute. Last week, I emailed Lanesville Community School Corporation families and teachers something. Indiana Chamber of Commerce through Ball State has published a report pushing for consolidation again of smaller schools. They are pinpointing school corporations under 2,000 students, which we fall, and they list the number of reasons that they believe that those school corporations are not viable. My letter was to inform the parents and staff of Lanesville Community Schools of that report and of all the great things that happen at Lanesville and how we do not fit into that category that they try to pigeonhole everybody in. I did that, and I sent that to Indiana Small and Rural Schools and to a number of superintendents, particularly those with under 1,000, and several of them sent a similar email out to their families. I read today that the state legislature, the leaders, have said that is nothing that they want to explore in 2024, partly because in Indiana they push school choice very hard, and school choice should be a small public school as well. And I think they have heard from several as we have sent those out, and they have vowed not to explore anything like that in 2024. And so if that comes back up in the longer session next year, the budget session 2025, Indiana Small and Rural Schools and a number of us, and that's about 1/5 of the school corporations in the state of Indiana, will be willing to take that on, but I wanted to make sure that we let the board know. Lastly, on my report, January is School Board Appreciation Month. And we've got just a certificate for each of you, just to say thank you, because Lord knows you don't do it because you get paid, just like teachers. You do it simply because you feel a greater need to serve your community. And sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes you take a beating, but you are greatly appreciated. But what these certificates say, thank you for your dedication. Lanesville Community School Corporation and the Indiana School Boards Association are pleased to recognize the school board service of, and it has your name, your positive contributions, leadership, and tireless commitment on behalf of our students, staff, and community are truly inspiring. We thank you for making a difference for public education. So I wanted to make sure, with January being School Board Appreciation Month and having a mother who was a long serving school board member, I know seeing what she has gone through, but I also know that it was one of the greatest joys of her life, and I'm sure with you guys it will be the same. And so I'm going to go ahead and give these to you, Mr. Vice President, and I'll take Mr. Schickles back, and I'll just give to him when I see him. But we wanted to make sure that we publicly recognized you guys.
I don't think it has a name.
Like,
And that concludes my report.
Where does it say the name?
Right here.
Oh,
See it now?
Bob's. Thank you,
Thank you
Dr.
very
Apple.
much. Yes.
All right, PTSO report, which we did not have a meeting tonight, so we will not have that. So it brings us to the public comments related to agenda items only. Does anybody have any comments?
That open enrollment that starts in February first, that for both high school and elementary.
Yeah, typically we run those at the same time, and what they will do, and usually you get more of those at the elementary, but they will start for the 24-25 school year, and then they will start taking some applications for that.
Anybody else? All right, we'll move on. We're going to put 11, 12, and 13 together. I need a motion to approve the hiring of Ashley Hilbers as an instructional assistant, Emily King as an instructional assistant, and
We do have a name.
I was going to say, do we have a name? for this?
We do.
Jennifer Sloan.
Parent of an 8th grader.
And
If you don't mind, we'd stand for the national anthem.
all right.
Uh,
What was her last name? Jennifer
Sloan.
Sloan.
And if you remember when we were going through the budget report, we talked about adding some additional staff, those kinds of things. Dr. Velker, one of the instructional assistants, is replacing somebody who could no longer physically do the job. The other one is an additional job because we realized that we need some more help special education wise. And then Mr. Smitley is hiring. And is she part-time in the mornings, or is she here all day? I could remember we'd kind of kicked, and she's going to be working some with our upper grade levels, correct? Yeah. And so we recognize, and we've had many conversations trying to figure out how we can maneuver things. At the end of the day, we needed more staff to work with those older kids, and then some other places. And so we've added that as well. And so when you heard me when we were going through financial reports talking about additional staff bringing on, and there's going to be some more in the next year or two that we recognize that we've probably been doing too long without, but that's a good example of that.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve any of those?
I'll make a
Three
motion
of
to
those?
approve all 3 of them.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Ryan seconds. All those in favor of approving the hires, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Number 14, let's see, approve a resolution to transfer amounts from Education Fund to Operations Fund quarterly for the 2024-25 school year. Do I have a motion?
And I've got that resolution here. And that's something that every school corporation does. Some do it once a year, some do it quarterly, some do it monthly. Here at Lanesville, we've always done it quarterly, and just asking the approval to continue to do that.
All right, do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution to transfer amounts from Education Fund to Operations Fund.
A
I'll
second?
second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, let's see. Approve the retirement of corporation
Wait,
treasurer.
no, you're 16.
16.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No,
You're
yeah,
15.
15.
You're
Yeah.
15. Okay.
Approve the retirement of corporation treasurer Penny Schmeltz at the end of May 2024.
I don't think we ought to do that.
I really don't want to. And both ladies, Miss Brewington and Miss Schmeltz, actually had plans to retire earlier, but knowing that a new superintendent was coming in, they both agreed to stay on for a little while to kind of help with that transition. And thank goodness that they did, because they are both wonderful.
How long has Penny been here? 30 years? Oh, 20. Geez,
22 or 23 years.
I know she's been here a long time, and I think we ought to. I wish she was here that we could make her stand up and applaud her because she
We
does-
will
we'll
try
do
to get
something.
her in here.
She does an excellent job.
She will be.
We need to.
Yeah, she will be
She's
here
really
through the
good.
end of the school
Yeah.
year. But she is a wealth of knowledge, and she really is the grease that makes this school corporation run. And so we have already posted that position, and hopefully we'll have a name to you guys in February. Is the hope and the plan to interview early in February, and that way hopefully we can get somebody in here March, April, May, because it's going to take that much time to even get a tenth of her knowledge into them. And then she, like Ms. Brewington, has agreed to come in whenever needed to help with things. And so,
She's a super employee. You couldn't ask for a better person than Penny Schmeltz.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, 16, 17, and 18 we will put together. Approve the resignation of Mark Adams, science teacher, at the end of 23-24 year. Approve the resignation of Donald Deemers as nighttime custodian. Approve the resignation of Aaron Shingleton as high school cheer coach at the end of the school year.
May I ask a question on that?
yes,
Why is Mark Adams resigning already?
he
What?
he has a desire to be an airplane pilot, and he made
Oh
it.
my God.
And so that is what he is going to explore. He's got a connection with the family. And so that has been his dream. And they're at a position where they know somebody that can help him do that. And so he is going to explore that route.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion for all three of them.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, the motion carries. All right, number 19, we'll approve all the coaches together. Approve the following coaches for the 24-25 school year. Michael Sizemore as high school girls tennis coach. James Powers as varsity girls tennis assistant coach. Amy Graves as junior high girls tennis coach. Brendan Booby as varsity boys baseball coach. Chris Guffey as junior varsity baseball coach. Christina Ordner as varsity track coach. Lauren Petty as junior high track coach. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve all the coaches outlined there for the 24-25 school year.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion carries.
And don't forget, we need to put, and I don't know which one you have.
I've got the new one, so
Okay.
yeah, the school board
Just want to
legislation.
make sure that everybody has that.
All right, so the next and last is to appoint school board legislative liaison.
Really, you just need a volunteer.
Let's say,
That's
does
a
anybody want to
volunteer.
volunteer?
Anybody want to volunteer?
Ryan, would you like to be interested in?
What's it do?
So it's one meeting in February?
Well, they get,
Well, and I would also like for that person, when we have our legislative breakfast, Mr. Schickel has been going as board president, but I would also like for that person to attend as well, to have two board members there. But that way they are well versed in
Yeah.
what the legislators have to say.
It's kind of time consuming as far as there's a meeting you should go to. February the 6th, there's the Legislative Action Day in Indianapolis where you meet the legislators, they have breakfast, there's conversation, talk about other meetings with legislators. You should give a report. I did it last year, but I couldn't go to the meeting in Indianapolis because I got sick. But yeah, there's reports you should give monthly on what's going on in the legislature. It's only January, February, and March because they end in March, I think, the beginning of the month.
Yeah, they want,
16th or
they really
something.
want to be done very early this year.
Yeah,
And they
they
didn't
do.
start until the 8th.
Yeah.
And so there isn't a whole lot to really discuss. We'll discuss more in February,
Yeah.
but not a whole lot to discuss right now.
I think I'll just do it again. If anybody cares. I did it last year.
If you're happy to do it.
I don't like it, but I'll do it.
All right.
Can I nominate Sharon?
No, you just appoint. I'm just
Okay.
appointed.
Oh.
You don't have to nominate.
Okay.
I volunteered
Right.
for that position, so.
So Sharon Rothrock will
Yeah.
be
Thank you, Ms.
legislative
Rothrock.
liaison.
Yes,
Thank you
well,
very
thank you.
much. All right.
Put you on training.
Anybody, anything else? Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make the motion.
Now that we're adjourned, I just wanted to point out to everybody, those in attendance, starting next year, we've got to broadcast our board meetings live. And so we are going through this year trying to, and that's why you see the new microphones. You see Mr. Hancock back there and a camera. We are going to take a full year to try to make sure we've got all the kinks ironed out. That way, when the time comes that we legally are obligated to, it will be a smooth process for it. So I just wanted to point that out to everybody. If anybody wondered why is there a camera in the back and all of a sudden new microphones.